unmasking the enforcer, the dark secrets of Steve Motsumi, the man we got to know about during the Madlanga Commission. What if the people who present themselves as protectors are actually the ones pulling the strings behind the scenes? What if the so-called enforcers in our society are not acting in the interest of the people, but in the interest of power, control, and influence? Today, we are asking difficult questions. Today, we are peeling back the layers. Today, we are unmasking the enforcer, Steve Motsumi. Who is he really? Why is he so feared that even the KwaZulu-Natal head of the Hawks, Major-General Senona, was so afraid to mention his name? What role does he play? And why are more and more people beginning to question his actions and asking about him and his activities and the activities around him? Who is Steve Motsumi? Before we dive into the controversy, we need to understand the man at the center of it all. Steve Motsumi is known in certain circles as someone who operates with authority, someone seen as a disciplinarian, a fixer, or enforcer. But in real and concrete terms, what does that actually mean? An enforcer is not just someone who follows orders. An enforcer is someone who ensures compliance, often through pressure, intimidation, or influence, and other means that they may deem to be applicable and necessary at that point in time. And throughout history, enforcers have always existed, are not a new phenomenon, right? So have always existed in systems of power, whether in politics, business, or underground networks. The question is, who is Steve Motsumi enforcing for? On whose behalf is Steve Motsumi enforcing? The rising concerns in recent times, whispers and allegations have begun to surface. People are starting to ask questions about patterns that suggest something deeper, may be going on. Now, let us be clear. Before we are misconstrued for anything, these are allegations and concerns raised by observers, not proven facts. Be that as it may, but they cannot be ignored. Some claim that there is a pattern of targeting individuals who oppose certain interests. Some claim that there are signs of behind-the-scenes influence, meaning the influence that is being exercised away from our eyes as the public. Some claim that there are suggestions that decisions are not always made transparently. Now, ask yourself, why would one individual be repeatedly linked to situations, be always placed at the center of situations involving pressure or control? Is it a mere coincidence, or is it a role being played? Because enforcers do not operate randomly. They operate with purpose. To truly understand what might be happening, you need to understand how enforcers typically work. They do not always act loudly. They are never splashed in public. They never make noise because they pull the strings behind the scenes. They do not always show their hand. Instead, they apply pressure quietly. Instead, they influence outcomes indirectly. Instead, they maintain plausible deniality. And most importantly, they often appear as legitimate figures on the surface. That is what makes them effective. Because by the time people realize what is actually happening, the damage is already done. So the real question becomes, is Steve Motsumi simply a public figure or part of a deeper system of control? Now, let us step back and look at the bigger picture. When multiple concerns point in the same direction, it becomes harder to ignore. We are not saying there is a conspiracy, but we are saying there are enough questions to demand answers. Why do certain names keep appearing in sensitive situations? Why do certain outcomes seem predictable? And why is there often silence when there should be transparency? Because silence can be just as powerful as action. And in many cases, silence protects power. Truth, power, and accountability. At the end of the day, this is not just about one individual. This is about a system where power can operate unchecked, a system where enforcers can exist without accountability, and a system where the truth is often buried beneath layers of influence. But here's the reality. In a democracy, no one is above scrutiny, no one is beyond questioning, and no one should operate in the shadows without accountability. So we ask again, who is Steve Motsumi really? An enforcer? A misunderstood figure? Or something much deeper? The answers may not be clear yet. But one thing is certain. The more we question, the closer we get to the truth. If you believe in accountability, hit that like button. If you want more content that asks the tough questions, subscribe to IZWI LABANSUNDU. Join IZWI LABANSUNDU to become a member. And most importantly, drop your thoughts in the comments because your voice matters. Kama Africa. My name is Debo Skosana.